These are stupid questions. They bias the process. They give you stupid answers, and then you take stupid decisions based on these. In most cases, an unoptimized pricing and packaging means that the company is leaving money on the table. If we are buying an insurance product or if we are buying a tortilla, what should they do first? Here comes the 3P pyramid. PPP.
Today my guest is Angelos Mozakitis. Angelos is an expert in SaaS product development, go-to-market strategies, and customer research. With a career spanning over numerous successful collaborations with more than 150 digital products and training 1,500 professionals globally, he is now focused on shaping the next wave of digital product leaders at the Product-Led Academy. Angelos is also a psychotherapist and a martial arts practitioner. Welcome to the Productize podcast. You talk about and you do a lot of consultation with companies and your clients related to value-based pricing and the importance of restructuring the pricing and how there is a lot of value that companies are missing from not doing the proper work in that area. So my first question to you would be, what are the typical errors that you see in B2B companies regarding pricing and packaging?
There are three typical errors that I mostly see and I mostly hear about during my consultations. And when I say consultations, I don't mean actual work being done, but I mostly mean about companies reaching out because they want to change their pricing. But what they communicate already tells me and already should tell them that they're not ready to do that. So the first
Mm.
most common mistake and error that I've noticed is that early stage companies, they overthink their pricing too much. They check competition, they check other quite established companies, and they think that they should have a pricing like theirs. Otherwise, they're not good enough. And what I
Mhm.
mean pricing like theirs, I mean fancy packages, um, different different scales of pricing. While in fact, an early stage company should have the simplest possible pricing, even silly simple
Mhm.
pricing that it can happen. So no complex pricing, especially before product market fit. All you need when you are before product market fit or at an early stage is to give to your customers the smallest possible barrier for them to actually buy. Because what you're trying to validate at this stage is that there are some people with specific characteristics that they actually are willing to exchange some amount of money for the value that you
Mhm.
are giving. This is all that you have to prove at an early stage. Nothing more, nothing less. So actually putting up weird pricing or complex packages puts more barriers that might actually be unnecessary at this stage. Another
Mhm.
common mistake that I see being done by or being perceived actually by founders and people that actually want to restructure their pricing and packaging is thinking that pricing is a finance exercise. Um, it is true that generally pricing has not for B2B SaaS so much, but generally pricing is something that is done by pricing experts, which most of the times are finance experts as well.
Mhm.
But when it comes to B2B SaaS companies that are even at B series stage, I'm not even talking about small startups. I'm even talking about quite scale ups, like large companies. Pricing isn't so much of a finance exercise, but more of a growth exercise. Okay,
Mhm.
so the subtasks that you must do in order to actually define your pricing even at quite late stage, have nothing to do with finance. Or they might have like a 5% of a finance thing, but the rest of 95% is purely growth. The
Mhm.
last thing that I wanted to tell you, Margarita, is that it is called pricing and packaging exercise. So lots of people might think, okay, The price is an important factor of that. In fact, the actual price point is the least important thing of the pricing and packaging exercise. Because if you basically do not figure out good packages that have a fit with a segment, so that you can actually reach what we call package segment fit, or if
Mhm.
you actually confuse your value metric and you put the wrong value metric, it doesn't matter what price point you will put. At the end of the day, Margarita, the price point is something that you can test and you can pretty much figure out with simple experiments. But if
Mhm.
you don't do the packages correctly, or if you don't figure out the value metric correctly, the whole exercise is wrong and needs to be done from the beginning.
Right. So you identify three main errors. So the people that come to you in a very early stage, and those are the ones that you advise to just do the simplest thing possible and find your market fit. And then the other two reasons are the ones that you accept as your clients, which is people that try to see pricing and packaging as a completely financial exercise, which should be growth exercise in terms of how we are going to escalate the product into other markets and then worldwide. And then figuring out people that find that think that pricing is actually the core of the exercise, while it's the other way around, as pricing can be changed. Like you can put cheaper and then test it a higher price, but the packaging itself is where the value of the product is it's related. So if you don't get that right, you you messed up. You messed up everything. Is this
Exactly.
a good summary?
Exactly. And I remember, actually, as a matter of fact, I remember I was giving a consultation, like a free consultation, to
Hmm.
a startup, and like a small startup, and they wanted to pay me to audit their pricing and packaging. And
Hmm.
they had questions like, what packages should I have, and what is my value metric, and what should I do there, and what should I do there, and they were pre-product market fit. And I remember what I advised them, which is good advice for early stage companies. Like, just put a price for the whole product, $25 for the whole of it.
Hmm.
Not a ridiculously low price, neither a ridiculously high price. Just check your competition, have a ballpark number, start low, and give access to the whole product.
Yeah.
I mean, is that sophisticated? It's not, but it kinda is in the same time, because what you try to see, if they will give you an X amount of money for the value that you're giving, and during the process you want to eliminate any barrier so that you start collecting data.
Exactly.
Because when people actually exchange money for the value that you're giving, then you can do way more complex exercises, like see how each different target customer segment uses your features. You can do some customer research, figure out more about the value they're getting, see where
Hmm.
usage gravitates towards specific segments of the market and your product. So you can put more layers into the exercise, but all you need at the beginning is data and validation. That's it.
Yeah. Exactly. And also, you need to consider that in the beginning, you are selling that product, and you also want to establish a close relation with your customers, and that implies that they will give you the time. So, like, simpler as possible, as I said, to be able to retrieve data and from that relationship, and not be saying you need to pay. Like, one of their examples of pricing would be a base value, and then extras for each extra value that you like. Too complicated. Yeah.
Exactly.
um
Exactly. Any complication at this stage is unnecessary. Absolutely
yeah.
unnecessary. I mean, at the end
So.
of the day, Margarita, if you have an early stage product and you try to raise money, and your pitch deck is like, we have X amount of customers that have paid us X amount of money for access to the whole product, and we have managed to retain them for X amount of months. That's
Mhm.
all investors need. That's all that matters at the end of the day. to prove that people that a specific that you know what is your ICP, to prove that this ICP wants to buy from you and that you can retain them. That's it. That's all it matters at this stage.
Hey, you! Yes, you! I didn't mean to scare you, but I have something special to share before we dive back in our exciting conversation. Are you ready to improve your product management skills and mark your calendar for Productize Conference 2024? From October 2nd to October 4th, it will be epic. Picture this: world class workshops, industry leaders sharing their secrets in an innovative atmosphere here in Lisbon. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. If you follow the podcast, this is the place you want to go. So, while you're enjoying today's episode, grab a ticket and join us. Take advantage of this exclusive opportunity. Head over to www.productize.go and use promo code PODCAST, all caps, PODCAST, to get 20% off to secure your spot. This discount is on top of Early Bird, so you can use it until June 28th. And let's meet in Lisbon for Productize 2024. See you there.
So, what for people that are not in this early stage and are considering or are thinking if they should do it, what steps should they take to restructure pricing and packaging? Or
Mhm.
sorry, even that before that, why should people even consider doing it? That
Okay, why should they consider? There are a lot of reasons to actually do that. The first and most important, the obvious one, is that most probably you are leaving money on the table. Um, there is always an optimization that can be done in your pricing, always, and the simple answer, the very quick answer, is that of course I need to check a pricing to actually say that with certainty. But in most cases, an unoptimized pricing and packaging means that the company is leaving money on the table. It can make you perform as well in certain metrics that are extremely important and are directly correlated with revenue, such as sales efficiency. So you can sell more because you have a better pricing. Retention. You can retain more because you have a better pricing. Recovered revenue. You can recover more revenue because of a better pricing. You can have better customer satisfaction. You can even increase the valuation of your company because you have a better pricing. Also, another thing that I wanna explain is that because we talked about product market fit. When we say product market fit, lots of people think features. Your product isn't only your features. Your product is everything. The features, customer support, pricing. There are companies that do not find product market fit because their pricing and packaging is wrong. I mean, imagine something. Imagine I have an amazing pair of shoes and I tell you, Margarita, I will sell you this amazing pair of shoes. I will sell you 300 grams of shoe. I will confuse you by that. You might not buy that. So the product might not find product market fit because the pricing is wrong. The pricing and the
yeah.
packaging is wrong. So it always matter how we sell something. What are the packages that we get out there? And in fact, pricing and packaging is marketing. Is proven that is marketing. Is part of your positioning as well. So we can't really get it out of the product market fit equation because it's one of the first 3 pages that customers visit when they visit your software. In any case.
Yeah. Yeah, it's part of the definitely part of the each step of the customer from acquisition to retention, and it can also lead to churn if they're not satisfied with the
Absolutely,
price. Yeah.
absolutely.
So, so now that we understand that this might be actually very important for the survival of the product and the thrive of it, what steps should people take to restructure pricing and packaging?
I'm typically asked about that, about the steps that people need to take in order to change the pricing and packaging. And at least for me, this exercise never really looked like a step-by-step exercise.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes it beautiful, but also quite difficult because it feels more like, when you open a puzzle that you drop all of the pieces on the table
Mm-hmm.
and you try to make sense of them. You try to make sense of at least the first steps. And when you make sense of a big part of it, then the rest makes sense more easily. So
Mm-hmm.
pricing and packaging for me feels like that because you must basically uh, just take a lot of factors into consideration in order to take decisions. Let me give you an example. The pricing and packaging of a company that is sales led, would it be the same if the same company actually plans to become product led in the next 6 months? No, it wouldn't be. So I just gave you an example of how um, a company how companies go to market actually can impact pricing. So you must consider, what is your go to market strategy? Are you a sales led, marketing led, or product led company? What do you want your go to market strategy to be in the next 6 months or 12 months? How much do you need actual people to sell your product? Are you hand holding customers? Are you self serve? Is your pricing public or private? Why? So, why are you hiding your pricing? Is there a reason for that? What competition is doing? Is competition hiding their pricing or having it public? Are you
Mm-hmm.
selling to SMBs? Are you selling to enterprises? Are you accommodating companies no matter their size? Are you horizontal? Are you vertical? What is your ICP? Have you figured
Mm-hmm.
your ICP? Um, so it's a lot of things that you have to drop on the table and just watch
Mm-hmm.
them, check the big picture. But I understand I need to simplify my answer because some people will listen to that and will wanna understand what should they do first. And here comes the 3P pyramid. PPP. The P at the bottom is the positioning. The P on top of that is packaging. And the little p at the top of it, the tip of the pyramid, is pricing. So if
Mm-hmm.
people want a very quick answer on what is the first thing that they need to worry if they are restructuring their packaging and pricing, is positioning. So
Mm-hmm.
just to make it very humane for everyone to understand, if what you communicate, the value that you communicate, hasn't yet found a segment of the market that has some sort of fit, and that can be proven by your conversion metrics and retention metrics. So if you haven't found a relative match in your positioning and your target segment, then probably you are not ready to move to the next piece of exercise. So
Mm-hmm.
that is the first thing that you must consider alongside your go to market, but let's not complicate it too much.
All right. So this first step would be this positioning part is the part that we understand the value proposition of the product and if someone is willing to pay for it. So the product market fit, um, the go to market strategy, what are the short and mid future plans of the company. So all of these exercises that um, being in the mountain, seeing like the complete overview of the company in that moment that will then define the packaging.
Exactly. And just to make it even easier for someone to understand, the packages that you are going to do after you figure out your positioning, each of these packages needs to match a specific customer and
Mm-hmm.
a customer profile, a target segment. So we make packages for specific jobs to be done or specific customers. So if you haven't figured exactly what is your customer or what is your value proposition and for whom, then you
Mm-hmm.
really honestly cannot move to the next exercise because the packages are made based on these.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and that implies data. So the thing
Yeah.
that now comes back to the beginning, that is the importance of having a base of clients that is using the product from whom we can get data to understand who are these customers, like to the profile of these customers and the value that each type of customer gets from the product, and from then comes the pricing. But let's imagine we are doing this. I imagine that someone that is considering doing this starts by doing the positioning part, and they discover that they lack product value. That there's a value gap between what
Hmm.
they expect to deliver to the customer and what the customer actually gets, and then there is churn and not
Hmm.
enough retention. So at this stage, like, what can someone do to bridge the value gap between the expected value and the delivered value?
Okay. The the value gap is an issue, but what is causing the value gap can be summarized into three different points. We might oversell and underdeliver.
Mm-hmm.
We might undersell and overdeliver, or we might just missell and misdeliver. So practically, what does that mean? To give real examples, oversell, underdeliver, very typical. Uh, Especially if you have a marketer that actually wants to um, give back and show some good marketing performance, you might kind of oversell in your marketing or give some unrealistic expectations that the
Mm-hmm.
product cannot actually follow up. So, what is that causing? That is causing onboarding churn. That might cause actual churn. That's how value gap is manifested in the first case. The second case, under deliver, or undersell, over deliver. We see that typically in technical companies, in engineering led companies, where they actually build some amazing technology, but then they really don't know how to communicate it, or they
Mm-hmm.
communicate the technology, they don't communicate the value. So you can't really you don't really understand the value behind that. You underestimate the value. How does that manifest? You have some customers, they love you, they understand your value, but you struggle to find new ones.
Mm-hmm.
Marketing is difficult in that case. So when a company does that, we see that they have some power users, but it's quite difficult for them to find more, especially through marketing. It might be easier for them to do so with sales,
Mm-hmm.
but
But
maybe they
that's
don't
an
want to do
amazing
that.
product. I'm sorry, but that's an amazing problem to have. You already have the amazing product.
I totally agree with you. The second one is an amazing problem to have. The first one, not so much. The
Yeah.
third one is the missell and misdeliver, which is very common as well. Uh, which is basically companies or B2B SaaS that or other productized services that they have a list of features. They provide a list of different values, but they think that their main value is different than the one that they actually give to customers.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do we deal with that? We need qualitative data here.
Mm-hmm.
The first and very quick answer is we need to speak with customers. But the way that we're going to speak with customers is very specific. We need to do something that is called value gap analysis, which is theoretically easy. In practice, is a little difficult, but in theory, is easy. You must talk with your best customers and establish what is good. And then you must talk with your worst customers
Mm-hmm.
and establish what is bad. And then you must talk with a few fresh customers and check what are their expectations. And then you must
Mm-hmm.
compare those three. Typically, when you talk with power users, you understand what is it that these people get as value in their own words. These people need to show that they're best because they're using your product regularly, which is adoption, product adoption, and you can find that in your mix panels or other product analytics, and through retention. And you can find that through your stripes. or checkouts. So financial metrics and product metrics. When it comes to your worst customers, what does worst implies? Churn. So your
Mm-hmm.
worst people are somewhere within your churn. These people are people that either churned during the onboarding or churned after using your product for a month or two. They need to be fresh so they remember why they don't like you anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go to fresh customers. And that's the beauty of the exercise. Because when you have established what is it that makes someone good and what is it that makes someone probably churned, then when you speak with a new customer, you can relatively easily figure out which route they will get. So
Mm-hmm.
once you establish this knowledge, you can actually take some decisions. You can understand that, you know what, the value gap is caused because of this or because of that, because I under deliver and oversell, because I do
Mm-hmm.
the opposite, because I have a misalignment in the way that I present my value. It's not one thing, it can be a lot of things. And then of course you
Mm-hmm.
can take a decision on what you want to do for that. Do you want
Mm-hmm.
to change your positioning so that it matches your product's value? Do you want to do some further product development to match up the promises that you give? Do you want just to optimize the communication so that it matches up better with your product's first value, first
Mm-hmm.
15 minutes of value? That is a strategic decision to take.
So, a couple of questions. You said that this is a very simple in theory, but not so easy in practice.
Mhm.
Why? Why do you say that?
I mean, one of the things that actually triggers me in life is seeing people asking stupid things. And
Uh-huh.
I can guarantee you that most people, when they do interviews, they ask stupid things.
Okay.
Let me give you an example of something stupid. Um, Margarita, do you like me as a professional? Is there any chance, Margarita, that you will tell me, oh no, Aguile, you probably suck. You are the worst and your face is stupid. You probably won't tell me that. So this question is by definition biased. So lots of
Yes.
people ask, would you use that? Do you like this? These are stupid questions. They bias the process. They give you stupid answers, and then you take stupid decisions based on these, which are wrong. And then you think that you're customer centric.
Mhm.
Anyway, just how you need to do this exercise to actually the general guideline. You need to make those three interviews: the best customer interview, worst customer interview, fresh user interview, comparable. That's the most important thing. What I mean by comparable, if I ask you, Margarita, as a best customer, what is the value that you are getting from the product? And then I talk to a worst customer, I need to ask them, what was the value that you expected from our product? If I ask you, before using our product, what alternatives have you considered to actually get this value? Then I need to ask
Mhm.
the worst customer, since you have churned from our product, what alternatives are you considering now to get this value? So I
Mhm.
need to make my line of questioning smart enough to be comparable. Otherwise,
Mhm.
how can I compare? If I ask you a set of questions and then I ask the worst customers a set of other questions, I might still have a empathetic understanding of what is wrong with one segment and what is right with another. But how can I present that? How
Yeah.
can I have an unbiased customer research analysis and go back to my team and tell them, here are my findings? I cannot.
Mhm.
I simply cannot. So we must ask questions in the right way, not make them biased, and ask them in a way that they can be compared, the one with the other.
Yeah.
These are just three very big mistakes that I see. Because if we open this box of what are the good practices when you do customer research, so that it's not stupid, we need at least 3 to 4 more hours. But
Mhm.
these are the
Yes.
three common mistakes that I see.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the way you gave the example of your questions were very like open-ended questions that can lead the person on the other side to just talk and say like it's not biased, that you said. It's very
Exactly.
important. Yeah. So now that so let's say we are in positioning, we have done some research, we have discovered that we have our users perceive this value from the product, and now we are in the part of the packaging. So
Mhm.
what different packages does exist, and what differs from each one of them?
What different packaging strategies exist?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, that's actually this is actually one of the most complex parts of the pricing and packaging exercise, and I would say one of the least important as well,
Mhm.
because the most important part is to actually figure out what are the target segments that you are addressing.
Mhm.
The reason I'm saying that is because I don't want people to actually overthink the different feature packages that they can have. But if they actually want to overthink, and good for them because I'm also an overthinker, there are five different types of feature packages that you can have. You can have the all in package. So you can have one offer that has everything included. That's simple, right? A company that actually has that is Bloomberg. They have
Mhm.
one offer and everything is in. There is a company that actually has nailed the category packages, which are packages with all features in a product category, and that is Salesforce. So the second type is category packages. Then you have segmented packages, which are packages tailored to specific segments or to specific use cases. LinkedIn does that.
Mhm.
Then the most common one, and probably the one that 70% of the B2B SaaS are using, is the good, better, best. I'm pretty sure you have seen that.
Mhm.
The 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 first package, the the better package, which typically is in the middle and typically is highlighted, and the third package, which typically is more expensive, but it's not highlighted, and it also creates a very nice effect for the middle one because the third one is the more expensive. I don't remember how this effect is called, and the fifth one is the modular package. So you basically the modular package is basically what you do when you buy data, or when in telephone companies have telecommunication companies, you basically build your own package.
Mhm.
Which are the packages that you need if you are in the B2B SaaS industry? Good, better, best, and segmented. These are the two that you
Mhm.
need to worry about, because you either build packages for specific use cases or segments, or you build three or four packages that are according to someone's growth, or just better value versus less value.
Mhm.
These are the two things that you need to worry about only, not the
So
modular
let's
ones.
let's focus on those two.
Mhm.
What is the difference between them in terms of what different customers are they serving, and does it relate to the stage of the company as well, the choosing of each package?
Generally speaking, no. Of course, as I said, in order for you to actually start considering different package types, you need to be at a stage that offering a higher exchange, actually demanding a higher exchange for the value of your product, can be done. So that is already a given. When it comes
Mhm.
to good, better, best, or segmented packages, it has nothing to do with the value of your product. It mostly has to do with your positioning. And by positioning,
Mhm.
I mean, let me give you an example. Let's say you have a vertical SaaS versus a horizontal SaaS. Let me think. You have a B2B SaaS for gyms, and then you have web conferencing SaaS, Zoom style. Okay,
Mhm.
Zoom is a horizontal SaaS. Gym software is vertical SaaS. When you have a gym software, you want to offer, let's say you want to offer three packages. What packages will you offer? Will you offer packages that are specific on segments? Probably not. You will offer packages that are specific on size. So it will be something like good, better, best mixed with the size of your gym. So good would be something like the small gym, the starter package. Better would
Mhm.
be the growth one. Best would be I'm established. Uh, it is a mix of size and probably good, better, best. But for Zoom, it's most probably okay. Zoom has a modular package. It is a bad example, but let's say a web conferencing solution that is horizontal. In that case, you might go for use cases because you
Mhm.
offer a big amount of features and you want to offer packages that are tailored to different use cases and jobs to be done. For example, the educators package, a package for all people that actually want to do trainings through Zoom, or the sales package, the package for people that actually are doing sales through us. These are use case specific packages. It really depends on what is your positioning, what is the structure of your customer base, and if you're vertical or horizontal.
Mhm. Okay.
This is an exercise again that you feel you don't really need to overthink because it unfolds if you do your positioning well.
Exactly. Exactly. So it comes everything to the base of the pyramid that needs to be done well. And one of the topics that you also covered was the value metric, the importance
Mhm.
of it. So why is defining the value metric so crucial?
Basically, if you don't figure out your value metric correctly at uh, not from the beginning, but when you want to do your pricing and packaging exercise, uh, you might uh, you might just not have a good pricing and packaging. The value metric is very important because it's the metric of value exchange. It's how people understand and evaluate the value that they're getting.
Hmm.
It's the example that I gave you before about 3 grams of shoe. Or imagine I was trying to sell you the same shoe and I would tell you, Margarita, I will give you one piece of leather and then I will also give you two pieces of leather lashes. So that's features. So if I would try to sell you the features, um, if you don't have a value metric there, or if you have the wrong value metric, the very wrong value metric, or if you just don't have value metric and you sell features, selling this product will get difficult because people need to think a lot. And people don't like thinking a lot. And that includes us. We want to take fast decisions, so we want to understand the value and we want to evaluate the value and we want to understand the value exchange relatively quickly. So, this is the most important thing. You can basically do everything wrong in that exercise, but if you do the value metric wrong, um, it needs to be redone. And in fact, it's not such a difficult exercise. It can get difficult if your value metric isn't clear and you have two or three different value metrics that are competing with the one with the other, or if you have more than one value metrics, it can get difficult at this stage.
Hmm.
But most companies have a pretty obvious value metric, or they can just have a company meeting and brainstorm on different value metrics and then ask their customers. I mean, it's a simple survey. Just run the
Hmm.
survey. It will pretty quickly tell you what is the value metric that people understand as the most suitable for you.
Hmm. And can you give examples of? So you give the example of the shoe, which is like very approachable and easy to understand. But can you give examples of value metrics from B2B companies?
I can give you generally some value metrics that we are experiencing on a daily basis, both on a B2B SaaS or technology companies or other companies. Seats. So lot of B2B SaaS companies sell you their software according to how many seats do you want into that. Gigabytes.
Hmm.
How many gigabytes do you need? That's telecommunications. Or how many gigabytes do you need if we're talking about storage? It can be items, like how many items of something do you need? How many transactions are you planning to do? How many minutes are you planning to use? These are just some examples, which are pretty typical.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. Very, thank you. Very intuitive to understand as well. Um, so now, let's say we have done the positioning exercise, we have done the packaging exercise, um, and we are on the pricing, the least important part, but still the tip of the pyramid. And you mentioned the importance of being able to test multiple prices.
Mhm.
So why is it important? What's the importance of testing the prices, pricing
I mean,
packages?
no, there is no pricing and packaging that is perfect. That
Hmm.
is one of the. Actually, I should have said that on the typical errors. That's a very important error that I see. Founders or growth teams trying to working towards a perfect pricing and packaging, or because they're delegated, they have been delegated to do the pricing and packaging. They try to do it as perfect as possible because they need to deliver
Hmm.
it. While in fact there is no perfect pricing and packaging. We do not aim for perfection here. What we aim is for something that makes sense. So that being said, into this process of making something that makes sense, we need to research and test. It is quite sure that when you do your customer research, you will have a couple of different ideas of how your packaging needs to be. And when I say a couple of different ideas, I don't mean totally opposing ideas, but you might have simple things to test, like two packages versus three packages, or good, better, best based on size, or good, better, best just based on value, let's
Hmm.
say. These are things that you need to test. So you can use qualitative research, you can do customer interviews, you can do surveys, you can do a mix of them. And after you do that, you might realize that some of those scenarios will be eliminated and some others might actually be merged as well.
Hmm.
As soon as you figure that, you know what, the least imperfect packaging is that, I have eliminated a few, I have merged a few others, and that is the least imperfect, then you must figure out your actual price point. Do you want me to tell you how we test that? Because there is a very specific way of actually figuring this
Hmm.
out. It's called Van Westendorp. It's a quite complex in the implementation of it survey that actually asks customers to say what would be the price point where something would be super expensive, what would be the price point where something would be so cheap that it would make them suspicious, and
Okay.
then according to strategy we pick something in the middle. But
Hmm.
even that, we need to do it after we have figured our packaging. We need to
Exactly.
give customers the packaging visually and then ask them based on that to answer this question that I told you. That question gives us a range from here to here.
Hmm.
And that range, according to our strategy, we can even say that we are going to start low because we go aggressive to get more market share, or we can say we start high and we have a discount strategy. So this is
Hmm.
a very strategic thing, but honestly, the least important. In most cases, the price point doesn't even need the Van Westendorp exercise because you kind of already know how much you need to charge just based by your competition.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. 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 You don't need to. Sometimes you don't need to do that extra jump in the beginning. Just based on well, not already there. Okay, Angelus, it was very interesting. I would close this topic for now if you don't have any more remarks to say. And I would like also to explore the one of the also your side kicks. I don't know how
Mhm.
to call it, but you are also a psychotherapist with credentials, and you refer something that you do try to connect psychotherapy to B2B leadership. So, how do you connect these two topics, the psychotherapy and B2B leadership or product leadership in general?
Okay, there is the fancy professional region, and there is just the real. Not
The real.
not that the first one is unreal, but the second one is more humane.
Hmm.
The professional reason is that when I did that these studies, um, I realized that if I have a better academic background into customer research, I will be more certified to actually do customer research as well. I'm also a certified UX designer, so I can do all sorts of customer research, from foundational research to UX research.
Hmm.
And it happens that the decision making process, even let's talk about jobs to be done. Lots of people are now aware of jobs to be done. Jobs to be done has a timeline. The jobs to be done timeline that has events, passive thinking, active thinking. Then you test a few products, and then you're like, okay, I like it, or you go back. That has a name in psychology, and it's called trans theoretical model, and is
Hmm.
used to actually change habits. It's the same thing. So our brain operates in the same way if we are buying an insurance product or if we are buying a tortilla. It's the same thing. It's a decision making process and our brain works the same way. So that's the professional reason. The less professional reason is that I'm in front of screens since 19 and I'm 36 now. I start getting a little tired of screens. And also, I think that recently, I don't know, Margarita, how old are you? And I won't ask, but it feels like at some point that the technology goes faster than me nowadays.
Hmm.
Like, especially since last year, I feel like an old man, especially after AI has exploded. So I was like, okay, how will I make my living if,
Hmm.
if I'm too old for that shit? Uh, I will do
Okay.
that.
You'll be a psychotherapist. But why? So there's a professional reason, I see. How do you see people that do it improving their careers?
Yeah. I haven't done it yet on a business level, and
Hmm.
I haven't done it to actually maintain myself because I'm a digital expert. I'm doing
Hmm.
it on the side because I have a deep love for psychotherapy and psychology. It's my side gig. I have my office, and I might help some people or some others not, depending on if it works or not. But actually, I was thinking that, especially in 2024, it would be a great year for me to start offering some services. It might be even pro bono to digital people, because it has been a very difficult year for everybody. I don't know if I'm allowed to say to swear again, but it has been a shit show this year for after wars, recession. I see a lot of people being in a very bad shape, and I cannot. I can't say that it has been an easy year for me either. And I actually going out there, being vulnerable, and being like, okay, like helping people, because there are people with families that I can see having the open to work ribbon for like 6 months. I know
Hmm.
people, I know friends of mine that are insane professionals, like very capable, super smart people that they cannot find work. So I think that actually using my psychotherapy background this year to actually help people, mostly pro bono, but maybe if there is an executive, maybe I could charge. I don't know, but again, it's a side gig for me. I think it
Hmm.
could be a good opportunity to do that
Yeah.
now. Haven't launched it yet.
Yeah.
Still pondering on it. But maybe I will do it.
Yeah. No, definitely. I get your point, and I think everyone can relate to what you are saying. It's been a difficult year due to the world events that impact each one of us directly or indirectly.
Mhm.
Um, and but also, like, so one of the reasons why I also asked this and brought this topic
Mhm.
to the conversation was because, well, I have recorded many episodes previously to this one, and the topic of knowing one's values, ethical product that Radhika talks about.
Mhm.
So these things are that are less tangible and less about
Mhm.
uh, selling and oops, less about selling, less tangible, let's say, are
Mhm.
starting to invade the our workspace for a good reason, I believe.
Yeah,
Um, and I yeah I and we had here Francesca Cortesi talking about the importance of knowing one's values to uh, grow as a professional and as a person and doing that work. So I strongly relate. So I think there are two sides. First of all, the big part that you refer, the events of the world and how psychotherapy and therapy in general can help you figure out yourself, but also how can you also then bring that and connect the two worlds of being a professional and doing that work on yourself, and how these two things, your life, your human experience and your professional work, are actually merged together and not to separate things that we
absolutely.
sometimes like to imagine. No, there's a life work balance that exists, but also you kind of need to bring yourself to the workplace.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the one of the one of the best things that I have enjoyed recently in that industry, where we all pretend that we are successful, and we all pretend that our lives are perfect. The best thing in that industry is that recently I have had conversations with people, and we just got real. I have good friends that came out and spoke about mental health issues, about depression, about ADHD, about their burnout, about their need to just stare the wall, about their lack of purpose, lack of motivation, uh, about their divorces, personal things, about
Hmm.
being a parent and also being a founder, about real stuff that everybody worries about, but we just don't talk about because it's not cool to show any kind of vulnerability online on that toxic toxically positive place that is called LinkedIn.
Hmm.
Otherwise, I don't know what will happen. Some puppies will die, or some clients will consider you less successful. Anyway,
Yeah.
that was my rant. Thank you. Thank you for joining my ranty TED talk.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I could agree with you that extra positivity, not only on LinkedIn but on social media, it's something that gets like impact us all, and uh, we kind of like pretend to be super well established and to have all the answers. And I was having a conversation with a friend the other day, and he said, so those who think they have all the answers are either pretending or they're stupid for thinking that and believing in that. So most
Exactly.
people don't have it, or they think they have, which is also, well, you're not learning if you think you have all the answers.
Exactly.
Yeah. Angelus, so just to close our conversation, and three fast questions that I want to think that I will do it, and I want you to answer the whatever pops in your mind.
Mhm.
So some books that you recommend, can be product or non-product.
Okay. What Customers Want by Tony Alwick is my personal Bible. Ikigai is a light book, but very cool. Just gives you some structure on how to find your purpose. Again, based
What's
on
the name of that one? Sorry.
Ikigai.
Yeah.
It's a research on what makes people happy and what makes people live longer. They have studied certain places in the world where people live way longer. That includes Japan, some Okinawa, some Greek islands, Sardinia, and some other places in the world. And they all have one common thing. I won't spoil the book. It's called Ikigai. It means the reason to get up from bed. So, what other book? These are the two that come into mind.
Okay. Nice. Okay. Favorite app? Favorite app on your phone or?
Favorite app on my phone? Oh my god. Favorite or most obsessed with?
Um, most obsessed with can be something that you are not very proud of.
Yeah, I must admit I have a notification obsession, so I rarely post online in social media anymore, but when I do, I get dopamine hits when someone gives me interactions. So
Okay.
I would say LinkedIn. Yeah,
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. Yeah,
Okay.
I spend
And
a lot of
talking
time there.
about Sardinia, your some ideas for vacation destination.
Some ideas for vacation: summer or winter.
You pick.
Alright.
What do you
I
prefer?
will pick one place. Okay, I will flex a little bit. I could say something around Lisbon or Athens or Greece, whatever. No, I will go for um, Gili Islands in Indonesia. I visited Indonesia this August, and I went to Bali. I didn't particularly like it, full of coaches, influencers, and Instagrammers. Not my thing. But then I visited Gili Islands, a complex of three small islands, where one of them literally will remind you the movie The Island with Leo DiCaprio. Like 300 people. Every night there was one bar with one Indonesian guy playing guitar and drinking beers. So the paradise. That's for summer, and for winter, I would say Krakow. I love Krakow. Is beautiful.
Well, Angelus, where can people find you?
They can find me online on LinkedIn. They can on LinkedIn. Just find me there. Um, Send me a message. Let's talk about mental health. If you want to talk about pricing, we can talk about that too. If we talk about mental health, it will be free. It will talk.
Okay.
If we talk about pricing, I will charge you.
Okay. Okay, Angelus, it was truly delightful talking with you. I'm looking forward to connect with you in real person in the Productize conference. And until then, see you soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.